Is an early morning wake up. Today, we're going to discuss the master plan, master psychoschematic, the master test of life. And we're going to break it down super simply. It's going to shock you. And we're going to break down a few other things and tie in some current events to make it dynamic and referenceable and give models for the mind, right? As mentalists, students of mental mapping and behavior recognition and elemental evaluation of a correct cognitive conscious nature. How would you correct your cognition in this realist biological world? You would go into the realist biological world, nature, right? That's the prescription from God to human beings, right? We've heard it in Genesis 1:29 and all kinds of different places. We've had examples, Exodus, of people being led from a controlled environment. Let's just use different terms because no mouth sound really begins to describe any of this. But let's just say, and it was a different mouth sound in a different language back then, right? But Moses took people from slavery and taught them manna, taught them nature, taught them how to eat from nature, taught them nutritionaldiversity.com diet, you know. Probably had them doing some push-ups, probably getting them into shape. It's amazing. I come to you this morning from beautiful Panama, and I'm all over Central and South America all the time doing nature, right? I went now and lived for 8 years, pretty much, not like Tarzan, but, I still had pants and boots, and I would still come into town. Well, it was almost more dangerous at that point in time coming into town than it was being out in nature because of a complexity of psychoschematics. Some of them happening to innocent people, some of them, happening to just all kinds of craziness. And when you're faced with like these dynamics and you're forced to kind of unpack it and or you're a bystander who knows the truth and you're just like, oh wow, holy moly, right? Because we're all living a deception at some degree. And we're constantly finding out, oh wow, oh Epstein this, oh holy moly, this health guy was out trying to drug his wife with secretly. Is that even true? Is it gossip? Does someone just make it up? Because plenty of people just make stuff up. Could he wrote some emails back and forth to himself? Let's think this out and not just accept what we're hearing. He probably didn't write emails back and forth to himself, incriminating himself but right? Are we able to just make up excuses? What's the grandest deception we're all fighting right now? You could kind of call it, you could mouth sound it the selfish disease. You could mouth sound it Chihuahua syndrome. You could mouth sound it dog chasing his own tail affliction. You could, right? You could call it the psychoschematic of square peg in a round hole disease, right? Syndrome. Psychoschematic download. If I could get a whole bunch of people to download an ability to not be analytical or investigative or experimental and hate on anyone who is, I could kind of control all those people, right? And if that exact scenario has gone on for a while with this herd mentality, now I've got this herd mentality. They're all gassed up on their ego, like little chihuahuas. They all think ridiculous things, that they're all these ridiculously powerful people, but they're afraid to actually put any of that into actual action. So it's just mouth sounding. That's all it is. It's only mouth service. And you'll notice out in the workplace, out in the school place, wherever, there's all these people that think they can mouth sound themselves into the top of the food chain. Oh, wait a minute. They can't. So we might be, as Kia Karlberg says, and I'll put the link below to Carl Burke's genius unpacking of this. But these people might have actually constructed such an environment to where mouth sounding will go further than real honorable cats behind the shovel. Is this starting to sound familiar? The Catch Me Outside girl has $50 million. The Catch Me Outside girl from Dr. Phil. Talk about a psychoschematic. There's one, right? So we're all fighting this selfish disease. We're either going to be, most people become selfish black holes, at least definitely in that controlled herd. I mean, as far as a naturalist observation perspective goes, if I'm looking at this herd, looking at this herd, I'm just like, holy shit, that is the most toxic Avenger, effed up herd I've ever seen or could imagine seeing in my life, man. What happened to these people? Why do they think that they know everything so much? And then, but you're looking at them and they don't seem to, you know what I mean? It's just like, how did this, what kind of programming function from the top down? What kind of culture have we created? What kind of construct are we actually living inside of? Right? The lie within the lie, within the lie, within the lie. Everybody's lying to each other. And I'll tell you why. Because everybody's accepting it. Now, people are really putting their foot down with these Epstein, all this craziness. They're demanding the truth. You see that? The truth is earned. Right? They're like, no, you have been lying to us. And then you're acting like there's nothing there. And then, oh, wait, look, there's plenty there. There's plenty there. And there should be consequences, more so than for infidelity, for deception. Because it's the grandest evil, prince of deception. And all we have now are little princes and princesses of deception everywhere. Are you one of them? Statistically, at least in our toxic Avenger herd ranks, and I hope you're seeing an important truth here, that if you just simply step out of that seriously toxic format, then you step out of the seriously toxic herd, don't you? Right? So if you're no longer selfish, acting like you know everything, if you're now galvanizing yourself to support other people, get behind other people, and here's the get behind programming that we have right now. Only get behind celebrities, don't get behind the small guy. In fact, if it's a small guy just like you, how dare that guy try to say, you know what, never mind these Diddy sponsored, or another person like Diddy sponsored liars that have been paid into popularity. Let's come over here, Braveheart from the movie. He's like, you know what? These people, enough of this. Let's get our little group together and let's give them what they're asking for. We all need to do exactly that. Now, that's the schematic of success for all of us moving forward. We all need to exactly crew up in tight trust building units where you can really get to know people and make genuine relationships, and you can spend time, and deep enough time, over short enough time even, to where you've got real connection and you've got a real foundation there, because both of you guys really care enough. And for example, you're centered in self-development. You're super disciplined and you get up and do burpees every morning together. You're surrounded of Jesus Christ. You're getting to church every week. You're an active member. You're helping do the soup kitchen. Like I said, we're creatures of habit, so we can ritualistically change our atomic structure. And this is so true, and symptoms and representations of it, such as Dr. Masaru Emoto's 2008 water pictures, rice test, and many other things. Pay deep attention to nature to understand everything better. Represent the pureness in good intention, good action, in a ritualistic, habitual manner. Going to the gym, purifying water. It's an action process, and it produces a pure result. That's what the earth is actually doing with the water. All these root systems and everything, contaminated water can come into those, and all these living things exist to purify water. They exist to do so many things. Bill Mollison observed in nature that 2 or more things are required for every action installment. How about thought? Let's actually seriously structure and build with intention, great intention to do good things, that higher polar power, law of polarity. You can get promoted on both sides, but of course, the good side is so much more powerful. So, but some people are just bad. Some people were born to be that. Some people were probably, predetermined as slaves. And this brings me to my gem dynamic that people will really love to fit on. So my friend hits me yesterday. He's like, so is it choice or destiny? He tells me, right? And I'm telling him, well, this is what it really is, I think. If you choose destiny, you choose to take on everything that comes at you in this holodeck training module for your soul head on. And you find the truth. You find what you're really working with. You scientifically get exactly what you're working with, and you learn to use it and build with it in a correct fashion. Or you learn to build, or you get hooked, or you believe in a distraction from that, which is a deception. So you have a deception, and it's just a distraction from your destiny. If you're unable to take on everything head on, go for the truth, find the truth, and learn to build with the truth, and you're unable to obtain the fullness of your destiny. You fall short of your best character, you fall short of your best destiny, and you fall short of the best ripple effect you can have as a teardrop into this water pool. And you may never, you could potentially, if you go by the deceptions, if you act the way the TV really wants you to act, the way the Jerry Springer show really wants you to act, the way the different Netflix series really want, man, down here in all languages, I turn on kids programming and I'm just like, are you kidding me? We have an opportunity to make the most insane animations of educational value and whatnot, and all the stuff that I'm talking about right now. I mean, listen, I'm from Albuquerque. There's a link below to another channel that has some of my pedigree told by other people, right? I've been pretty tough guy before. I come from the underworld, no doubt, Here's my selfish mother can still justify to herself and to every other people, even though she knows there's no. She got fatter, ate popcorn, watched Netflix, and was all these are addictions. Pills. You're gonna be addicted to something, ladies and gentlemen. Choose wisely. Choose the gym. Choose the Schematics channel. Choose to support and help other people. Share this genius rant thing with them. No, right? But listen, so I just want to see you win. I'm a true winner. I just want to see you win. I work every day to turn myself, to recognate myself as a true follower of Jesus Christ. And in doing that, I need to learn nature. I need to be strong. I can't be judgmental. I hang out with all kinds of whores. Most of my girlfriends growing up were whores. My mother's a whore. You know what I mean? Like, I know all about them. I have no judgment against them. In fact, I thank everybody who fails because it's their failure that gives us the dynamic opportunity to overcome. I know that was shocking. Gives us these failures become our only challenges to overcome in order to get our wings in stage 2. So thank you. I don't just forgive you, I thank you, and I understand the fullness of it. And while I may be sorry or saddened or happy by your thing, I detach. You get credit where it's due. Period. If I fail to give people credit where it's due, how solid am I? I'm not that solid. I failed to be the solid individual that gives credit where it's due that I could be, to have that highest grade of honor code. And your honor code, as Chris Langland with the 200 IQ, with the theory of everything, shows, that's what I see in nature. What he wrote, I have seen in nature. And I've seen beyond what he wrote in nature, right? Like, so he's saying there is a type of structure pattern that you have to be like in order to be recognized by right? You know what I mean? If you have bad code, you can't get in. It's actually like that. There's a color spectrum, right? Another thing about this is every good deed that you do builds into a 5D insane crystalline structure pattern that enables the freedom and intelligence and conscious upgrade of everything and everyone. That's actually true. We all came here to get strong together as a diversity, and all natural enhancements are completely within our extreme potential to execute across this planet. Look, across this life, across this holodeck training module for our souls, for the souls of all, for the one love that Bob Marley sung about, that so many people have identified. Other side of that coin is everything is a toxin and a remedy. It's the dose that decides. Everything is a toxin and a remedy. It's the dose that decides. Even enough negative element, that's what builds your immune system. So if you have enough resistance in the gym to not break you, but to tear you up a little bit, to give you some healing and recovery ahead, then you're building strength, right? All challenges, opportunities to build strength. We came here to get strong. Listen to the cultivator, all right, who has been working in Central and South American agriculture systems and has tropical agriculture systems that he's working every day. Cultivational, let me tell you, we all came here to get strong. The idea is to come here, learn smarter, stronger, more dexterous, more character. When you handle a challenge and you don't take it head on and you don't tell the truth and you don't do the right thing, if you're a good person with good intentions and your intentions are everything, link below, you will make yourself better next time. That failure will be a part of your later success because you will course correct. That being said, why take 10 years to become strong and nightly when you could take 2 by seriously focusing down? Don't lie to yourself and say that you could take 2 minutes and be some hollow, gassed up Pearson out here that actually doesn't have that credit, that actually didn't earn that just thinks they can mouth sound themselves into position. And in this toxic ass herd, they can, right? So now we're being super, hyper selective. So for a lot of you guys, you might think that, okay, yeah, you know what? I learned a long time ago not to hang out with bums and to only hang out with other A gamers, and you're kind of going on and on and on here. But here's what a lot of those guys can't grasp yet, right? And that is that if they were to leave the world of insane, you should have, you see, this is where the mouth sound thing comes again. You should have extreme ownership. That's a Jocko Willink book title. You should have that. You should have it. You should take extreme ownership. Everything is definitely your fault. You have to look at it that way. Even if things are not your fault, you're best to look at them as they are, because that's the blade sharpening. And then you start to realize as you do that, oh shit, they really are. I could have really been James Bonder, sharper, more dexterous, quicker, stronger, whatever, and prevented that. More knowledgeable, more read, more focused. I could have had these achievements that some people get in their 50s, in my 20s, if I did what they do in their week in my one day, and then my week is a month and a half of their, right? I'm a month and a half ahead of them in 1 week, right? Because I'm doing what they're doing in 1 week and 1 day, right? My velocity, I turned up my speed, I turned up my engine. You know what I mean? I put 10 more pins to the situation than they did. And now I've got all the more horsepower. And the reality there in human beings is it's momentous. And once you can fit something into your routine as a regular, so you just make your page, right? Get up early, bang, 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 bang. Wait, is this noise or is this signal? I'm out of this. This is noise. This is not laser focus on my thing. Nah, you're sharpening that mental manic situation that's contained, right? And I need this advice more than anybody. But I've got serious nuclear energy up here that has been generated from time and nature, seeing the truth when no one else does, and you're just like, you know what I mean? Seeing the truth when nobody else does is crazy powerful. That is a crazy powerful thing, and nobody can really do it. Everybody has to be right, has to be an expert. They have to believe something. Wipe all of that. You're seeking. You're an open vessel, ready to call audibles, ready to make changes at the last minute, ready to take on whatever, whenever it comes, because opportunity is really like catching a bullet nowadays. You've got to be in the right place and the right time, and you've got to have matrix moves to miss the 5 sabotages and catch the one opportunity. And you'll be, but now it's nuclear. If you can be that Jedi, you'll be one of the only ones in the masses. So now you're the bar owner, and everybody's drinking. You see what I'm saying? They're already drinking, and you just open another bar. It's waiting for you. Now, when you do that, are you gonna actually open a bar and make a liquor company, James Bond icon for all of us? Salute to Bukele. Do not. I love Nelly too, but it's just like, man, we're not gonna go into the poison toxic business, because karma is something that we've actually figured out too. We've gone to these higher dynamic levels through experimentalism, actual experience. The path illuminates as you walk it. So you say, oh, you know what? All these people are being duped. And what are they being duped into? To be this selfish black hole that uses and hates on everybody, right? Right? Braveheart, you love him on the movie, but if he's like, come over to the thing, you feel like Judas. Most of you are Judas. Most of you are Judas. And you don't care. And you hear something like me and you're just like, whatever, punk. You're a punk. I'll game you. I'll game you. I'll show you what your good golden rule shit does. You know what I mean? I'll try, and that's a lot. That's very, very true. Us golden rule people, we gotta be more selective than anybody. And you're never gonna do a perfect job at that. You're also never going to do a perfect job at taking excellent care of the diamonds that you do find, given the potential that you do have. That will be the rarest quality. If someone's even tiptoeing into that spectrum, it's a rare thing. But if somebody has realized, holy moly, when I do this, I become a divine being, and I'm able to sacrifice this, and I'm able to stop doing this bad thing, and I'm empowered, right? You know what I mean? I'm cleaning it all the way up to the point where, oh, I don't want to give this up. And I might not be, and this may cost. This may come at a financial cost. This may come at a cost of a limb. I don't know. There's all kinds of guys. They lose a limb and they're way happier than some of us right now. Well, how does that, right? It may come at a cost. It may come, you know what? I could be this savage that I've been and make $2 million this year, but I'm gonna make 800,000 and not be the savage, and I'm gonna give $1.5 million away or whatever. Or I'm gonna give 500,000 away and not make that other 500,000 that I would make super savagely or whatever. I would venture to say, in experimentalism, once again, walking the path, once again, taking that action, once again, is the only way to really know. And that means you have to be fearless. And another rare symptom that is not of the herd programming. You know what I mean? If you start being fearless, you'll start to notice that everyone around you is going to start to be like, no, 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 careful, 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 nay, nay, nay. Because you're getting so free, you're scaring them. Because they're too weak. They didn't get strong. You're getting so free, you're reminding them of that same thing too. And that doesn't feel good. How are you so tough? Huh? It's brick by brick, my friends. Eleanor Roosevelt says, do something you're afraid of every day. I'm with that, man. Have your daily checklist. If you habitually, ritually, regularly, routinely install all these things, the PFE. Now I do the PFE twice. I pay the toilet tax twice. Every time I go to the bathroom, I do a small workout and stretch routine. Every time I take the dog out to go to the bathroom, I have a whole nother one for that. Every 10, 20, and 30 day mark, and also on the 13th of every month, I double down, I triple down on the basics. That's my triple down on the basics inventory, self-inventory, hardcore self-inventory. If you think that your blade is perfectly sharp and there's no nicks in it and it can't get sharper, I feel sorry for your soul. I feel sorry for your life. I feel sorry for the people around you. However, if you're open-minded, just wanting to help people, super trucking flow state to flow state, productive, interested in serving nature, serving the great spirit in whatever capacity, you don't have to serve other humans. Some of us are not. There's a segment of society that should be tending to nature right now, and we're not. And that's irresponsible and unconscious of us, And so I figured out what my calling is, and I know that you can figure out what your true calling is too. And a lot of people really truly have figured that out and still could use to upgrade that completely by having this selfless modality with boundaries. There is a recipe to success, and Napoleon Hill has written it for us all, over and over and over in 10 books, starting with Outwitting the Devil, Think and Grow Rich. Get those two, all right? And see that focus versus signal, strength versus weakness, signal versus focus and signal versus noise, strength versus weakness, selfishness and ego versus seeking. Selfishness, ego, believing, knowing, being right, versus seeking. Silence and alignment, pure intentions. Just think about this. It's going to be harder. It's going to take more strength. It's going to take more soul and more honor code to really produce this. It's going to take sometimes accepting hard lies that you don't want to. You know what I mean? It's going to sometimes maybe get out of the box. Go live somewhere where you can walk down the street on your horse and it's actually free and it costs 1/10 and you can liquidate huge amounts up there. Please like, subscribe, share. If you want to get one-on-one with me right now, while I don't have too much of a big following and I'm looking to construct and help compose a spear-tipping small circle molehill that the mountain will form from. This is the beginning from the muscle stages. This is where you get in and have ownership in it of some of these media enterprises that you can see. Who knows how many I actually have? Who knows what I actually have? You would have to really get to know me to know that. But I'll show you a few things and develop a few things with and in front of you guys here in this place. And here we can create a spear-tipping small group, and that's what I'm trying to do, and educate them and give them the Jedi kickdowns that I've received in my crazy experience, which may not all be good. Again, the biggest thing I have to say is you have to be an experimentalist. You have to do something that scares you every day. You have to get out there and do the things you don't want to do, but you know you need to do. It's screaming at you right now. You know what it is. I don't. But you've been procrastinating it, and now you've got 10 hours to just get it knocked out. If you do, you will have a momentum that can be unstoppable if you keep going just like that. And if you don't, you will probably have an ego to cover up the fact that you didn't. And that there's a serious weakness there. Everybody who's got to act, they've got to act. A lot of people, they're like, man, I didn't expect that guy to be so friendly. I didn't expect that guy to be so genuine and caring. You know? Yeah. I mean, the truth is, I'm super much stronger for that. And we've been seriously confused and deceived as a society into becoming little princes and princesses of deception ourselves. And it's winning, and it's working, and it's sorry, and it's sad. And OGs like me, Kung Fu masters on the top of the hill and the mountain with their dog and their motorcycle, you know, whatever. The studs, what is it, rumble fishes, like myself. We just want to see you win, because we're winners. You can't be like me and not be a winner. You can't be this tough, this smart, this good looking. No, this fine. Funny. Let's do this right, all right? And take it from a naturalist. The biggest hand in the game is the Great Spirit. If you really want to truly be valiant, pray for that. You know, dedicate yourself to that. Do what you need to do. Take things on head on. Get to the truth. If somebody's lying to you, if there's a prince of deception, princess, that's your opportunity to galvanize, man. It's unfortunate that they made those choices. Are you going to make those choices? Are you going to make those choices? Or brick by brick, are you going to build yourself into a true warrior with true strength? Because that's how you do it. And it's all those little crossroads that eventually become your major crossroad at the end, your crossover at the end, and all these little, like, look, man, you knew that was wrong. You chose to continue to be a victim of it for comfort. Do you see that? Dear Lord, I pray that those of us who are supposed to can find this, who have the opportunity, the cognition, the interest, have the strength to go back to nature, click the links below, get in touch with me. That those who are dealing with the psychotic, deceptive, controlling issue from the household to the governments to the world influences. They want to program, control, consumerize, and distract us from our signals and destinies that we must choose. Because indecisiveness is also a choice, and it's the worst one too. Don't those people just get banged up? I hope that we can make our solid choices become solid spirit tips and punch through, aligned with our own signals and getting to our destiny path as the Great Spirit hopes for us to be able to do, as nature is patiently waiting for us to pull into. I pray, dear Lord, that my message is received by the people that I care and love about, and that have been deceived greatly and have been weakened greatly and have been robbed of potential greatly, and see if they can catch that bullet of opportunity that's both scary and humbling and requiring of much sacrifice and open-minded experimentalization. And hopefully before that we can learn the first thing that nature teaches you, and that's politeness and respect. You cannot be stumbling around out there, don't we all know? One way to find out. Vision Quest, ladies and gentlemen. I pray that people can do the necessary steps to can brick by brick with the right bricks build up the right modality cognition for the righteous reasons and intentions in the righteous alignment with you, O Lord. I pray these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Seriously, thank you. I love you. 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 And I will say the rest of that with my actions today. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Thank you. Ooh.